Hey, welcome back guys to another update of my Canadian dividend investing portfolio series. So if you're new to the channel, what I do here is I'm a Canadian buying and selling stocks on the Toronto Stock Exchange. I use Wealthsimple Trade to buy all of my stocks, and I track everything in this custom Google Sheet that I made, and there's actually links to everything in the description below if you'd like to try out the Google Sheet or if you'd like to try and get some free stocks from Wealthsimple as well. It's a really nice platform to be using. So today we're looking at a stock value of around $68,535. The markets have been really beat up a little bit this week, and I'm just waiting to see whether or not this is a dip or the start of a correction. So I'm going cautiously into this week. I had deposited around $350 into the account with a little bit left over from before. And yeah, I just want to go through my portfolio here, talk about how it's doing so far, and then talk about which company I bought more stocks in earlier this week. So basically, we're sitting at around a total gain of around $5,200, about 8%. About 2 weeks ago, a week ago, we were up more like 10%. So this has really dropped off. This is fluctuating by a few $1,000s at a time, but looking like it is staying in the green, so that's okay. And nothing too crazy, no drops that are too concerning, but definitely there was one day a few days ago where like everything in the portfolio was down like 3 to 6% or something like that. But it's kind of wild right now. But either way, yeah, we're seeing an average yield of the portfolio of around 3.95%. So most of the stocks that I have are paying a dividend, almost all, but not everyone. And that basically gives me a total cash flow every year of approximately $2,700. Or about $225 per month. So yeah, we can get a good idea here of the holdings. If it's been a while since I've kind of blown this up, I'm still biggest into real estate, followed by utilities. And industrials is actually creeping up quite a lot as I'm often buying more stocks in Acon. That's becoming a bigger position of mine. And we can see here too with the holdings pie chart, most of these companies the big ones are real estate companies, followed by some utilities here. And like I said, this ARE, that's the one that's been growing quite a lot for me lately as their stock price has been pretty beat up. So I've been loading up more on them. But when we look here also at the dividends, you just get a good idea here. I've been putting in money consistently for the last year and a half or so, and we're seeing a nice nice growth in the dividends that I'm receiving every month. So far, with this month being the best, and I actually have to add in another dividend here, and you'll see that in 1 second. So looking at the portfolio, we can maybe sort this so we have the biggest percent of holding at the top, and we can get an idea of what's going on in here. Again, a lot of real estate companies, and some are in the green, some are in the red. And kind of get an idea as we go down the list here, my positions are getting smaller and smaller, with some making up very tiny fractions of my holdings. So when I was looking at what stocks I wanted to buy the other day, I think it was on like Wednesday or something like that, I wanted to pick up Interjex here because they are one of my smallest positions and also one of my worst performing ones. They're down the lowest. If we also sort it this way, just by putting the biggest gain at the top and the biggest losses at the bottom, Interjex is also at the bottom down here. And so that to me was an indication that I wanted to pick up some more of them. And I'm not too stressed out about this company. They have been beat up quite a lot lately, but I'm still comfortable with buying more into this, especially because it's such a small position here. So when I add more money in, it really decreases the average price. So when we look at Wealthsimple Trade and jump into the activity tab, we can see that here on January 26th, I did pick up 19 shares of them at a price of $17.91. So I'm going to transfer this into the spreadsheet and make sure that's logged correctly. And the other thing to notice here is I also got a dividend here from BNS, and that is something else I'm going to have to transfer in manually. So let's go ahead and do that. So I can just start with a dividend first, to go into the dividends tab, and I just log each one individually as I get them. So this one was BNS. I received it on January 27, as we just saw, 2022, and that one was for exactly $10, and I received Canadian. The other thing to do is I also log the transactions. So I log every single transaction in the spreadsheet as I do them. So in this case, it was for Interjex, TSEINE. And these guys I took on January 26. And it was 19 at a unit price of $17.91. And I didn't pay any fees in Canadian or US dollars because I'm using Wealthsimple Trade. And I paid with Canadian currency. So with all that done, then back in the summary tab, what I usually do is I come here and I check this out. Actually, we can look at the portfolio tab first, because here we can see that based on that buy that I made before, it was down about 11%. But because I bought quite a few more shares. I really increased the size of this position at a much lower price. It really did drop that the gain or the loss on these. And so if we actually resorted it again, you're going to see that now they're moving up and they're not the worst performing stock anymore because I bought them, I've lowered my average price. So now hopefully they will increase someday, but basically I have to work less hard to get this back in the green in the future. So that's why I like doing that. And then in the summary tab here reflects that the cash has been decreased and the dividend income has increased a little bit. So before it was sitting around $2,710 and now we're at $2,724. So that's an increase of about $14 per year. All of that which will be coming from Intergex split across 4 payments per year. Not all of this, like the increase, the $14, the extra will be coming from them. But either way, just every time you buy dividend stocks, your total dividend income increases. And that's something that I like about using this spreadsheet, because if you're just in Wealthsimple Trade, it doesn't actually give you this number of your annual income or your monthly income like that from dividends. And that's a pretty significant thing to be tracking if you are a dividend investor. So guys, anyways, I've been rambling for quite a while, so if you enjoyed this video, thanks a lot for watching, and make sure you just drop down a comment below. It's super cool seeing everyone leaving comments there. And I always like chatting with everyone about, what stocks you're buying as well. So guys, with that said, I will see you down in the comments and in the next video.